Hey guys, Dellahan here. So the news has come out about Dawn of War 3 not being updated anymore. And I just want to share my thoughts on that news and my reaction and the state of the game basically. So I guess obviously I was a big fan of Dawn of War 3. I'm one of those people that like I never had any issue with the design of Dawn of War 3. Like I enjoyed that game 100%. Like the reaction to the game since release has somewhat baffled me because to me it's a really solid RTS. Like I enjoy playing it. Like I don't have any problems with any of the mechanics. Like there's some things that could be tweaked, like maybe like some stuff about resources from killing objectives or stuff, but like 99% of the game I really enjoy. So this has been really sad to watch this game go from being blasted to months and months of very limited support to finally all the support being canceled, basically. And I think Relic has handled this really poorly at every step. The game came out. First, it was the beta. The reaction to the beta was pretty negative, although I don't think it was as negative. I think people were still kind of waiting. Maybe the final game would be different. Maybe the final game would be different. Then the game came out, and the campaign's all right. Like I have some footage of one of the campaign missions, and it's not as bad as people have been saying lately, but it's not the best campaign I've ever played. If you ever gone back and played like Dawn of War 1, uh, that's a pretty boring campaign. It has a decent story, but like the actual mechanics of the campaign, it's super dull. And like the mission design in Dawn of War 3 it's okay. Like there's some cool stuff in there. There's some really easy stuff. Like I feel like the biggest mistake with the campaign of Dawn of War 3 is it never really feels like you're playing the same game because the economy is so skewed based on which mission you're playing. Like it never feels like you have a whole lot of money going on. Like I think they needed to just unlock the game needed to play more like the multiplayer in the campaign. They needed to let you build generators and build an army that way. It doesn't feel natural in the campaign. Like there's some missions where you just your base is on top of a bunch of resources and you get money that way. And like this mission here where you have no money for most of the match. So I think like the campaign is middling. I would say it's like a 7 out of 10 kind of thing. It's got some cool moments. It's got some fun stuff, but ultimately it wasn't super impressive. But I do enjoy is the multiplayer, and I think a lot of people. The biggest complaints that I saw, at least at release, were there's not enough maps, which is something they have addressed. That's the one thing they have adequately addressed since release. Is there are more maps now, and then I think people have a lot of issues with the way the lethality is. And I think this is why I enjoy this game. A lot of people don't seem to. Is I've always been a competitive RTS player. I like playing 1v1. I like playing the intense micro, dodging, all that stuff. But Dawn of War 3 has a lot of really. It definitely took some getting used to initially because you got elites like Jane Zar or Maka that would just, or Weird Boy that would just melt entire armies with a few abilities. And I think that's really what fundamentally turned a lot of people off of the game early on. Is you just have all these like the elites are somewhat balanced at a high level of play. Like once you learn how to mitigate them. And with some of the changes, they have made some good balance changes to the game, but they've done these tiny little nudges. They haven't actually tried any substantial changes to make the game more palatable to people. And so like the elites were pretty overbearing if you're new to the game. Like they felt really powerful, and it felt like your regular units just did nothing. And that's not true at a high level of play. Like playing this game since then, like that's totally not true. But I can see why people would feel that way. Especially on release when these units were a lot squishier than they are now. They got 30% more health now out of the gate. And I think that made a big difference to how it plays right now. But what the opportunity Relic missed out on was they didn't try and change the game drastically, even though there was all this negative feedback. Like they never. Well, quite frankly, I think they have a good game on their hands. But obviously, that's my opinion. It's not the opinion of most people. Most people seem to want a much slower paced game, a lot less lethality, and more of a slower pace. Saying that's one of the things that Dawn of War 2 was fast paced in terms of the you know, victory points. Like you could capture victory points and win a game really fast. But the actual lethality, how quickly units died, it was still slower than Dawn of War 3. Like Banshees fighting like a Dire Avengers in Dawn of War 3, the Banshees will kill that Dire Avenger faster here than they did in Dawn of War 2. The other thing is Dawn of War 2 had mechanics that made your units more durable over time, like leveling. So by the time you got to late game when stuff was doing more damage, your squads were also a lot more durable in terms of just from being higher level. And they also had upgrades to increase their durability that were on the unit themselves, whereas in Dawn of War 3 there are health upgrades, and those used to be a lot better. Like, they did change it so they have more health up front now, and that's better for players that kind of ignore those upgrades. But before, if you got, like, level 2 health, your units were a lot more durable. So what I think Relic missed the opportunity to really try and make this game more appealing to people. Like, it's almost like they didn't even try. Like, they added the new elites, and honestly, I suspect the new elites are just cut contact from whatever expansion they were doing, because usually that's the kind of thing they would add with an expansion, is add elites for the existing factions and do the new faction and the campaign, blah blah blah, and they canceled all that. And that's everything as Relic has handled poorly, is the communication. Oh god, the communication. So they never really talked to the community, like, directly about anything. Like, obviously they were going through the data and all that stuff for months and months and months, but like they never just like made a forum post that said, hey guys, what do you think of this? You know, so the perception of them taking any feedback was not there, and they didn't take any action on the feedback. Like, they had an annihilation mode because that was something they could do, you know, in a week. Like, that probably wasn't a big effort, but they never did anything substantial. They just seemed to give up on the game, you know, and now they have officially given up on the game. Like, the new elites are really awesome, and I think they were a cool addition, but you know, that's not something that's going to bring people back to the game. If people fundamentally don't like the lethality and the pacing of the game, adding new content is not going to amaze them. That said, I think we all expected them to try something. You know, like I knew they weren't making a ton of content. I figured that's because they were planning some big overhaul changes to the game, and none of that came to fruition. Like, they said they had one guy who was working on making it so you could build elites from structure instead, and like, obviously that's, for one, that's not really what the game needs. And two, like, one person was working on this. Like, where is the team effort to try and save this game? And obviously that wasn't there. Like, they didn't even try. Like, adding Last Stand would have done wonders, because a lot of people, even if you hate Dawn of War 3 multiplayer, a lot of people didn't like Dawn of War 2 multiplayer. A lot of people liked Last Stand. You know, Dawn of War 2 multiplayer was abysmal on release, and like, it took years for it to get patched and changed to become something that it is today. And even then, it's still not everyone's cup of tea, and that's fine. But the problem with Dawn of War 3 is there's not enough content to appeal to people. Like, there is the multiplayer, and if you don't like that, there's nothing. The campaign, you know, I'm sure some people played through it, but the campaign seems worse received than the multiplayer, which is crazy. But the campaign is not going to keep your attention for long. It's one and done. You know, you play it once and you're done. It's extremely linear. There's not a lot of options for how you play it. You can use some different elites maybe, but even then, like, they so tightly control what you can do in the campaign, how much resources you have, how many units you can build, which units you can build. And then that really reminds me of Dawn of War 1, where you would just unlock, like, here's your unlock unit for this mission. The first mission, all you can build is attack marines, and you just attack with a bunch of attack marines and some attack upgrades. It's super boring. I tried playing Dawn of War 1 again. Right before Dawn of War 3 came out, I was like, I really gotta play through all the campaigns again, and I got like 2 missions into Dawn of War 1, I'm like, fuck, no. I still might go play Winter Assault, because I never actually played Winter Assault, but, yeah, Dawn of War 1, no, I can't do it. It's just too classic RTS where you unlock one unit per mission. Like, at least in Dawn of War 3, the campaign did explain the faction mechanics, and you can say, oh, it's a big tutorial, but like, yeah, but the game needs that tutorial. There's so many mechanics in Dawn of War 3. Dawn of War 3 is one of the densest games mechanically I've ever seen, and that's part of the reason I think people don't like it that much either, is it demands so much in terms of, like, you gotta be really thinking about how all these abilities interact and how they all work, and like, a lot of times you just watch units die and you don't know why. So I think Relic just dropped the ball completely on this game. They didn't try any big changes. They didn't really try to do anything to draw people back in. You know, they added some new maps and some new elites, and that's only good for existing players. If you're someone who just hated the game initially, they haven't changed the game enough to really draw you back in, and they've never tried. And that's what pisses me off the most, is they didn't even try. You know, and everything they did. Oh my god! Like last year, they said, "Oh, we're gonna take a bit of a break and go through the feedback, and then we're gonna work with you guys in 2018." And I don't blame the messenger for this. I know that Ben was just saying what Relic was planning, and the plans have changed so much that now there's nothing. They didn't even want to try to save the game, and this is it for Dawn of War. There's not gonna be a Dawn of War 4 at this point. There just isn't. And it's a shame. And I think there's a lot of people that really want this game to be fun. There's a lot of people that want to like this game. And I think that's why it's so people have just given up on it, and I think it's totally salvageable. If Relic's not gonna do it, then I'm gonna try and do it. So the mod tools are interesting because they're extremely limited in some respects, but in terms of gameplay changes and balance, you can do a lot. And so what I'm kind of toying with right now is first getting the game to a really balanced state, mainly just tweaking some of the things that I think right now need a little bit of tweaking. It's not going to be too crazy. Like, I don't want to do like a total conversion. I just want to take the existing game and make it a little bit better. But then I want to experiment with, what if I just gave all the units 50% more health? How does that play? Because a lot of people, the units just die too quickly. What if the fights lasted longer? What if the, in the late game you didn't have Taldir or two-shotting Predators, or like the super late game elites weren't so domineering against regular units? What if the economy didn't become so focused on, I feel like the Phase 3 economy is where the economy goes to shit, and if you're playing T games, you're getting to Phase 3 almost every game. So I guess what I would say is I want to experiment just trying to make the game fun for people that don't like it is what I really want to do. Because maybe if we do make the game fun for people and enough people decide to play it, which I don't think I'm not really expecting much in that regard. I don't think we're gonna get thousands of people to come back to the game just because I changed the gameplay a bit. I think it's too late for that. I think Relic could have done that, but they chose not to, and that's a shame. But, hopefully we can make it more fun. Maybe it does bring people back to the game. I don't know. I just want to try it. Because I still want to keep playing the game, and I don't want to, I don't want to see the game die yet. It's only been, really, Relic only patched the game for 6 months, right? Because they stopped patching everything in October. We haven't seen anything since October. And, the game came out in April, right? It's not, it's an absurdly short time. By this point in Dawn of War 2, we got, there's only War Patch, Last Stand was around the corner. We got a ton of stuff in Dawn of War 2 at this point. And I realized the RTS genre was way more popular. I could rant all day about how the RTS genre is dead. Just going on GameReplays.org and looking at how active the forums were when Dawn of War 2 was new versus Dawn of War 3. And that's not Dawn of War 3's fault. There hasn't been any of that popularity. And it's not just Game Replays; it's everywhere. The gaming community has moved on in a lot of ways. The people who were 4 years old when Dawn of War 2 came out are, they're playing PUBG right now. They're not playing Dawn of War 3. They're not even thinking about it. They're playing other stuff, and they haven't really experienced RTS like a lot of us older people did when we were growing up. Because the games haven't been there. The most popular games right now are just remasters. Nostalgia bait. Age of Empires 2 HD is popular. Company Heroes 2 is popular, and that's mostly because so many people loved Company Heroes 1. And it's close enough to that people play it. Even though everything new that was added to Company Heroes 2 has been hated. Every single mechanic. To the point where the game is unrecognizable from the way it released in. But, I don't know. I think, I want to try my hand at making the game more fun for people. So I'm going to focus over the next few weeks trying to work with the mod tools and balancing the game. And I'm going to keep casting. I'm going to try and play some games and cast. If I'm only casting my own games, I'll just keep doing it. For now, anyway. I won't give up until I can't play any good games anymore, basically. And then I want to, try and make the game balanced. I got a few people that I've been talking to that are interested in, helping with that. So maybe we will see a bit of a revival for Dawn of War 3. I don't think the game needs to die yet. I think there's still a lot of chance to just make the game more fun for people, more engaging. Take the mechanics that are already there and make them more palatable to the general audience and people that didn't like the game. So, this is kind of just a bit of a rambling about the state of the game. I think Relic has handled this extremely poorly. I'm really upset with Relic. Every step of the way, like they didn't even announce they were ending development themselves. There's no news post on their site about it. There's just a thread saying, well, and then answer some questions. And the questions, a lot of the fans have been saying in there, like they stopped developing content so they could focus on the foundation of the game, and like, you know, they never really changed the foundation of the game. They made small tweaks to the economy and to the damage units take and all this stuff. They didn't do anything substantial. So yeah, I'm gonna try my hand at balancing in the next couple weeks. I'll do a video on that when that's a thing. Hopefully the mod tools work. I have heard that the mod tools can be a little broken right now, and that might be a complete barrier. Like if they're just completely broken and I can't do what I need to do, then maybe I won't. But I'm gonna try it for now. Probably 2 or 3 weeks. Probably about 3 or 4 weeks actually. I'll have something substantial, I hope, and then you know, we'll go from there. I know. We'll see if anyone's actually interested in that. But I'm sure if I change hands enough, maybe someone will try it out, play a few games, and maybe they'll enjoy it better. And, you know, it just takes some momentum. Once the word of mouth gets out there, maybe we can bring enough people back that Relic will come back to the game. It's unlikely. I really doubt they'll come back, even if we made the game more popular than Company Heroes 2. They've moved on development-wise. It's hard to bring people back to a project like that, but you know, it's at the same time, Dawn of War is the heart of Relic, I think. Like that is something that's near and dear to their hearts, and I think they were very sad to let it die. And maybe if we could bring the community back by just making the game more acceptable, I think that would go a long way. I think the core design is there. I think it's just a matter of tweaking the gameplay so it feels more like Dawn of War 1, Dawn of War 2. I think that's entirely doable. So, yeah. I'll keep you guys posted on that. I'll keep casting games, and I'm gonna keep playing Dawn of War 3. I'm not gonna just stop playing because Relic's done. You know, the game is still great. But thanks for watching, guys. Bye.